John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this one's going to be fun for me and probably for you guys also. I know a lot of you guys may have seen a Bloomberg YouTube video that went viral. I can only dream my videos would go viral like that. But basically, in that video what they did, they had the Juicero machine and they had a Juicero Juice Pack. They showed how they could literally take the juice pack and squeeze the juice out without any kind of Wi-Fi, internet-connected $399 juice press. And so the media have been all over this. You know, a lot of people online have been all over this, and people have strong opinions, especially when it makes something look like it's obsolete. Like, you don't even need this thing to squeeze it out with your hand. And are these like Capri Suns, and is there just juice in here, and are you really just squeezing juice, and is there even any fiber in there? And then people start really getting into like juicing's no good, it's a waste of time, and all this kind of stuff. So anyways, in this video, and I'm not going to say it's going to be a short 1-minute video like the Bloomberg so you can just get the soundbite. I'm going to go deep into juicing, deep into the Juicero, comparing the Juicero to other juicers later in the episode. I'm going to actually squeeze out the juice, see if I can squeeze out the juice with my own two hands, duplicate what Bloomberg did to see that hopefully they're not like, you know, fudging the numbers or doing anything fishy. And also, more importantly, explain to you guys why juicing is so important, and a fresh-made juice is a lot different than store-bought juices. Okay, so the first thing I want to get out of the way is I want to talk about juicing as probably one of the healthiest things you can eat or do in your life, right? Drinking fresh-made fruit and vegetable juices, and I encourage you guys to focus on the vegetables because vegetables are the most under-eaten food in the entire world, especially the leafy green vegetables. And at the same time, people are not eating their vegetables, especially leafy green vegetables. These are the most anti-disease foods in the entire planet. They have special things called phytonutrients and phytochemicals that may help your body resist against aging and disease, and even they heal people with cancer with these juices on the Gerson therapy. Look it up. But juicing and making fresh juice can be so beneficial. And when I'm talking about juice, I'm not talking, John, I bought the apple juice at the store, man, and this stuff's $1 at the dollar store. You know, I got 64 ounces, man. That's like half gallon. And this stuff, it says on the label, I don't even know what percentage of juice it is. It's apple juice, ascorbic acid, vitamin C on here. Is it even 100% juice? And what's been done to it? And has it been micro-filtered? Have they added sweeteners to it? What the heck have they done to it? So for me, you know, when I talk about fresh-made juice, I'm talking about squeezing fruits and vegetables in their whole and natural state and making a fresh juice that you drink then and there that has gone through no further heat processing, pressure processing. You know, when you start heat processing and doing other kind of pressure processing, you're taking away things that should have naturally been in the juice. These things could be, you could be lowering the vitamins and, more importantly, some of the phytochemicals, and these are the most disease protective properties of the juice. For example, Jay Cordich, the juice man, who is responsible for really getting me into juicing, he said that he worked with Dr. Garnet Cheney at Stanford healing people with ulcers, and he gave them cabbage juice, and if they didn't feed the cabbage juice to the people with the ulcers within minutes, they would not get the beneficial effects of the ulcer healing from the cabbage juice. So this is how perishable fresh juice can be, and this is why I encourage you guys to process your own juice at home. And that being said, let's get into some of the benefits of juicing, why juicing is so important. So number one, it allows you to concentrate the volume of the vegetables and the leafy greens that you're probably not eating anyways, right? I could literally take 5 pounds of spinach. 5 pounds of spinach will turn into 5 cups of juice. 5 pounds of carrots will, on average, turn into 5 cups of juice. I couldn't just sit there and eat 5 pounds of carrots, but I could easily drink 5 cups of carrot juice instead of eating breakfast, you know, which most people are eating high calorie, low nutrient breakfast, you know. Things like eggs, meats, and bacon, all the standard, you know, breakfast fare, they're really high in calories, but unfortunately they don't contain these valuable phytochemicals and phytonutrients that can promote health, promote energy, prevent mental clarity, have less brain fog. And if you still don't believe me on this, right, and you haven't really done a lot of research on juicing, I encourage you guys to check out Netflix. I know most everybody has Netflix these days. look for a movie called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, right? Joe Cross, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. That's the movie you're going to want to watch before you judge juicing, because you'll see how juicing, even in, actually he uses a pretty crappy juicer in my opinion in that video, or in that movie, using even a crappy juicer, but being consistent at it and getting off and drinking more fresh juice and less of the processed crap. He literally saved his life, lost weight, gained more energy, and had higher levels of health. And the other thing about juicing too is when you juice, you get a lot of these valuable colors of the food, the pigments. And it's been shown that people that eat more pigmented foods are more attractive to the opposite sex. So if you're single especially, it's important to juice and eat lots of carotenoid-rich foods that have lots of color, because that'll make, instead of you being pasty and white, will have almost a natural tan like I seem to have year-round, you know, and that's just because I eat a high phytonutrient foods. The next reason why I think juicing is so beneficial is because it's one of the easiest foods on the entire planet to digest, right? Have you ever wondered why we give babies baby food? Why don't we give babies whole carrots? We give them this mush. That's because babies don't have teeth, and if you have teeth, you're supposed to take each mouthful of food and chew it into mush, especially those salad greens. Dad. My dad will take 2 chews on his salad greens and swallow, and I'm sure as heck, and I haven't seen it before, but when he goes number 2 in the bathroom, if he looks in there, if I look in there, I'm sure I'll see little bits of salad that are just basically going through him whole. But basically, chewing is a very important process, unfortunately, with these time constraints that we have these days. People don't chew their food to get the optimal digestion out of the food. In addition, people's digestive systems, after years of eating processed foods and junk foods and animal foods in excess, are not working properly. How many times do you get a stomachache after eating and you just don't feel good, right? That rarely ever happens to me. Juicing is one of the easiest foods to digest because we're removing only one of the 2 types of fiber. We're removing the insoluble fiber, the kind that does not dissolve in water. And when you juice, you keep the soluble fiber. Soluble means dissolves in water. When you juice, you're getting literally the liquid nutrition out of the fruit or vegetable, and you're drinking it, so you're getting all the soluble fiber. And the ratio of soluble to insoluble fiber in each fruit or vegetable varies. For example, in carrots, it's about 48%, so it's almost about half. So even when you're juicing something like carrots, you're getting approximately half of the fiber still. And, those are some things that I want you to consider. And, and then another thing I want to mention is that people with incurable diseases, right? Cancer, right? Look up the Gerson therapy. Many people go on a Gerson therapy. It's a juicing diet program that people heal from drinking green juices, carrot, and apple juices, and their bodies heal themselves. And it's completely amazing. So it's used in, therapy. So even if you're not sick, right, why take the chance of getting sick in the future? Why don't you just start juicing now? In addition, I have friends that do coaching for people with colitis and Crohn's and irritable bowel. I mean, if you have one of those diseases, you know that really you eat anything, you're on the toilet, right? And it's really hard for your body to digest anything. Some of my friends that do coaching for people with those, my friend Dr. David Klein, actually recommends going on a juice diet because that eases the digestive process, soothes your body, so that you could actually start working on healing your body. In addition, he also recommends other dietary changes and other things as well, but juicing is a big part of that. Removing all the fiber, because the fiber can cause the inflammation for some people. So another reason why I like juicing instead of other methods of eating more fruits and vegetables, as I mentioned before, it concentrates the volume. So you can eat drastically more and get more of these nutrients in you, and especially in this day and age when food's coming from the standard agriculture system, the nutrition of an apple today is definitely not the same as an apple in 1950. You might have to eat several apples to get the nutrition that if you're alive in 1950 to get an apple out of 1950 if you ate just one. And so that's why I really think it's important to concentrate the nutrients you're getting in the food you're eating, and even more importantly, to grow your own food in this day and age. That being said, another reason why I like the juicing is because you're minimally affecting the nutrients in the juice, especially when doing a cold pressed juice like we'll be showing you guys now. You're doing minimal oxidative damage to the produce before you eat it. You're going to keep, probably high levels of the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, the phytonutrients, but more importantly, the microbiome. And if you guys have looked into tech stuff and research, you know the microbiome, or the beneficial bacteria, fungus, and yeasts that live on us and in us, which actually we're more bacteria than human, it's said. are super critical. And when you eat fresh foods that are not heat processed, you're going to get some of this microbiome influence that can positively affect your life. And unfortunately, most people are eating sterile foods these days, which can cause many issues, as with, the exact opposite of eating a healthy microbiome rich foods, are eating, antibiotic foods that could really mess up your microbiome. So when you heat food, when you cook food, you're losing the microbiome. You're also losing some of the beneficial phytonutrients and phytochemicals. You may be lowering some of the vitamins. You also may be potentially making carcinogens in the process of heating and cooking your food, especially if you're doing something like frying or cooking at high temperatures. So that's why I really like no heat processed juice where no heat's involved to maximize nutrition. I only got into juicing myself because I almost lost my life. And when you're in a hospital and the doctor's telling you might not make it out alive, especially when you're in your 20s like I was, you really think hard about what you're doing in your life. And if it's really important, and if you want to continue on your path so that you might not be here the next day. And I really had to make some serious changes to find out the best foods to eat so that I could be the healthiest. And that's what I share with you guys these days. I'm affectionately known as a juicing expert. I have more videos on juicers and juicing than anybody else I know. I compare more juicers online than anybody else I know. So if you're looking for a juicer, any kind, be sure to check out my videos. I compare them all and lay out their pros and cons, and that's the whole thing. Everybody wants to see the big cons of the Juicero right now, and there's some pros actually, but of course there's also some cons, and the question is, do the cons outweigh the pros? Well, stay tuned and find out. So another reason why I like making my fresh juices at home is because normally you know what's going in your juice, right? You're buying the fruits and vegetables. Maybe even you grew the fruits and vegetables. You picked them, you harvested them, you washed them. You know what went into the soil to grow them. You know what kind of chemicals you sprayed on them. If maybe you didn't spray any because you're organic. You know what kind of nutrients you added to the soil to have higher quality food than money can buy simply in the organic food system chain, which is basically just big agriculture and another big business, and they're out to basically make a buck. So you can't really fault them for that. But normally you know what's going in your juice, even if you just have a home juicer, unlike the Juicero. You buy your produce, you buy your fruits and vegetables. Hopefully you buy them at the farmer's market. You ask the farmer, what did you spray in it? When did you harvest it? You could know the quality, and you put it through the juicer and you see the juice come out, so you know exactly what's in there. When you buy a bottle of juice, whether it's heat process like this bottle, or whether it's even an HPP or high pressure pasteurization process that no heat is involved, you really don't know what you're getting in the bottle. Did they water it down with extra water? Did they put some kind of sodium benzenate that they're not listing on the ingredient labels? I hope that companies, especially in the natural food industry, would be honest, but you just never know. And do I really know that Juicero is putting what they say in their packs? Is this really just carrot, lemon, orange, and ginger? Did they add any preservatives? I have no idea because I'm not there doing it. So that's why, another reason why I encourage you guys to make your juice at home and not buy pre-purchased juices, or not necessarily buy pre-purchased packs when you're not there to necessarily see the process. And I would encourage every company, whether they're Juicero or other companies, to be more transparent. This especially goes with produce companies, right? I want you guys to have QR codes or some kind of code or number to scan the thing, and you could actually see the farm that the produce was grown on, how it was grown, all this kind of stuff. And I think that's really the age of how the internet can help accountability and traceability, and basically being open with what's going on and transparent. Super critical, super important. So in the case of the Juicero, we don't have that benefit of knowing exactly what's in the juice. We just have to trust that these are all organic ingredients, and that they've set up a good supply chain and good relationship with farmers, and they're getting the produce as fresh as possible and processing them and putting them into the bags. So now that you guys learn about some of the benefits and why I believe juicing is so important, right? And the other thing is just there's so many testimonials I get almost on a daily basis. I've sold thousands of juicers to people all around the country, and I get constant feedback. John, I lost weight. John, I no longer have migraine headaches. John, I don't have the brain fog. John, I have more energy. I can play with my kids again, more, and I could walk around the block, and some people can't even walk and stuff. And that's the power of juicing. And it's the power of not necessarily just the fruits and vegetables are really good for you, which they are. They're the best foods on the planet and you should eat more of them. But the fact of the matter is when you're juicing, what you're really doing is you're displacing the foods that you would normally be eating, right? I want you guys to displace your breakfast of bacon and eggs and even some grain-based cereals with a fresh juice, right? Every morning, generally, I wake up and drink a fresh made juice, or I might have some fresh fruit, right? Some of the easiest things for our bodies to digest in the whole world, and I'm starting my day out right with something super healthy for you. And if you ever thought about the word breakfast, what does it mean? Well, it's two words: break fast. When you're eating breakfast, you're breaking your fast because you've been sleeping hopefully for 8 hours, maybe some of you guys 6, maybe some of you guys 4, and then even before that, hopefully you didn't eat right before you went to bed. Hopefully there's a couple hours of gap before you went to bed. So basically you've been fasting maybe 8 to 12 hours, hopefully, over the night, and you haven't been eating. And when we're sleeping, this is when our body's healing and repairing and doing all the necessary housework and maintenance that it needs to do. And so when you wake up in the morning, then you have a big meal, your body's like, oh my God, I just woke up, I'm breaking my fast on this big, huge meal. And so it'd be much better to, break your fast on some water, get hydrated in the morning, drink some coconut water, then maybe a little bit later, have some fresh juice. And that's exactly actually what I like to do. It keeps me on top of my mental game most of the day, by eating cleaner and lighter. So now let's get into the meat, or the vegetable pulp of this video anyways. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, I'm going to do a test of the Juicero hand squeezing versus the machine, man versus machine, and see which one wins, who could get more yield, and which one takes longer or shorter, and show you guys a time without any editing. Bloomberg edited their video. But before I even do that, I want to actually open up a juice pack, because some of my comrades in the industry, I do consulting with many different juicer companies when they're making a juicer, and they bounce many ideas off me, I bounce many ideas off them, and I'm always here to help make any company make a better juicer so that they can actually have a better juicer, better quality machine at a lower price that you guys could use so you guys can get the benefit, because that's what I'm all about. I just want people to eat more fruits and vegetables and understand and discover the amazing properties they have and how they could help you rebuild your health like they've helped me rebuild mine. And the other thing I want to say before I get into all this actually is when I first learned about it, actually I talked to Doug, right, the original CEO and the inventor of this idea, and I talked to him on the phone at length because I wanted to work with him to help him promote this machine. And I made him some offers on how I could work with him, how I could help him, how I could get promotional, and create videos for him. But he wasn't really interested in my offer at the time, which was all right. Hey, everybody's going to do their own thing, and I never got to give my feedback on the machine or what I think. And frankly, when I talked to him, I told him, hey, Doug, you're selling these juice packs, that's great, but even the next level up is to have juice packs that people could fill themselves. But you know what? I don't think that's their business model. And I don't really fault them. They spent millions of dollars to make this machine, and yeah, it's an over-engineered, and it's definitely probably, they're probably not making much, if anything, when they're selling one of these machines for $3.99, because I've seen some of the engineering and some of the parts and the assemblies on the inside of the machine. It's actually rather impressive. But their whole model is a subscription-based model, so you got to buy these juice packs for $5 to $8 each to create only 8 ounces of juice, which in my opinion is not a lot of juice. I like to drink on average, and in average sitting I drink between 32 to 64 ounces of juice as one sitting. So if I had to buy 5 of these packs to juice, that's 40 ounces, it could be $40-50 for their packs. I could easily make that much juice in, I don't know, maybe a half hour between washing and cleaning the juicer up. I got more time than money. Of course, if you're a millionaire, got a lot of money to blow, buy this juicer, and this is better than not drinking your juice, right? So yeah, Doug wasn't really too, into my idea about that, but I'm still encourage the current CEO to make juicing packs available and to maybe turn off the code reader so that people can juice whatever they want and make it easy for them. In that case, then my whole philosophy on the Juicero would change. In addition, besides making people allow them to juice their own packs, provide the tool to properly process the produce before it goes into the pack, because that's important. People don't understand. You could just chop up apples and put them in a pack and juice them, but then you're not going to get the ideal or optimal amount of nutrition out of those apples. You're literally just squeezing out the water with some sugars and some flavorings in there. You're going to be losing a lot of the valuable phytonutrients, in my opinion, and based on my previous testing. Another thing I talked to Doug at length about was actually the way they process the food before they put it in the packs, actually. because this intrigued me the most. And they said, oh, we have special technology where we actually don't grind up the food, which most juicers do. Because the thing is, when you're grinding up food and it comes in contact with a blade or something, and it has basically, the blade hits it multiple times, you're basically oxidizing, exposing more of the surface area open to air, which may lower the nutritional content of the food. So he says he had a special proprietary method that he actually chops and cuts the food, not grinds it, so it preserves it for longer, which actually I was like, wow, this is the first time I've heard of this, and it just actually makes sense. And so until now, I haven't been able to handle a pack or see it myself. I've seen some videos, people opening packs, but now I'm going to give you my expert opinion on if this is simply chopped up and put in here, or if it's ground up and put in here, or if literally they just put a soup in here, and that's why you could squeeze the bag out and you get the juice, because literally it's already juice in there and you're just squeezing it out, much like a Capri Sun, which I think would be a sham. Anyways, for this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get a nice 2-quart mixing bowl, and I got a nice fine sieve there, and we're going to go ahead and take some scissors, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this virgin pack open. And I'm going to cut this kind of carefully because I want to see what's kind of like in the pack, and I want to try to maybe even reuse the pack, which I know some people wouldn't really like me doing, but I don't care. So, it's my pack, I bought it. I do what I want. So let's go ahead and let's see if we could cut this right below the heat seal line here. Alright, I'm in. So now I'm carefully cutting open this pack. And on the inside of the pack, what do we see? Alright, so we see like a little, basically it's like a coffee filter bag here. Let's see. And it's actually kind of like built into the bag itself. And so let's see, in the bag there's just sitting this much juice, right? So I didn't even do anything, I didn't press it, I didn't do anything. There's this much juice that has come out of the bag itself without even squeezing it or anything. So this bag is not like a Capri Sun where it's like all juice sitting inside there. There's actually very little. The juice is sitting inside, let me show you guys this. It is inside like a little plastic, this is the plastic lining, and then inside this is like a coffee filter style, but it's not made out of paper because it would dissolve. So it's some kind of like I don't know, some kind of poly material. Okay, so it's pretty tough. So let's see, what I'm going to do now is actually I'm going to go ahead and have to cut this up. Didn't really want to do that too much, but I might not be able to reuse the bag at this point. Let's go ahead and cut this up a little bit. Alright, cuts through really easily. Alright, so now that we cut this up, let me show you guys what's inside there. That's what it looks like, and we're just going to go ahead and dump this out. Alright, some more juice came out there. Let's go ahead and dump all the package out. Alright, so that's what we got here. Did we get all that out? Yeah, we got it almost all out. Came out pretty cleanly, actually. That's impressive. Alright, so if you guys were wondering if this is just a pack of pulp or like you know, water, Capri Sun, clearly it's not. This is just basically produce that's been cut or shredded, still not sure, and very little juice came out so far. Alright, let's take a look here at the produce more closely. So I mean, some of this looks like if you took a carrot and you took a peeler, you know, and you finally peeled it off. But then some of these pieces, I don't know, a little bit smaller. So I mean, to me, this doesn't look like they're grinding the produce personally. Like, I've seen ground produce a lot, and this looks a little bit different, you know. It looks almost like they're shredding it finally on a super fine shredder, like if you're shredding carrots for your dinner, right? I mean, that's kind of like what I would believe it to be, mostly. Now the question is, how juicy is this stuff, right? So here's the thing, I'm going to go ahead and put this right here in front of the camera, and let's see, we're going to take my hand and just mash it in. Look at that. Look at all the juice squeezing out here. So I mean, even though it's been shredded, you know, there is a good percentage of juice like sitting within here, and I don't know that I'm actually squeezing the juice out of the shreds. It's that the shreds are kind of like acting like a sponge and holding on to the juice. And there's something to be said about that, right? You know, I've seen some studies that show that when you make juice and you hold the juice within the fiber complex, it preserves the nutrition longer. Nonetheless, I mean, this is a pretty wet pulp here, and I'm able to squeeze a good amount of juice out of it. Alright, so what does this prove? This proves that they're probably actually chopping their produce, or maybe not chopping, but maybe grating. I'm not really sure that they're chopping it. I'd like to really see the equipment that's doing that, and I would encourage them to make an open source video and be transparent and show the exact process instead of all this like behind closed door stuff, and really prove why your machine and why your system is superior than, you know, just having it and selling it, right? And so yeah, these are my opinions on this topic. We're going to come back and revisit this pulp a little bit later, so stay tuned and don't leave. I think the next thing I really want to do, really important, is actually I want to press out 2 juice packs in measuring cups. Actually, one's going to be in the Juicero itself, and one's going to just be me hand squeezing it. Once again, these are virgin packs. Let me go ahead and the other thing, actually, I gotta say that I don't like about the Juicero is that it actually is Wi-Fi connected, and it's actually, there's no apparatus that actually you could plug in an Ethernet cord to it. I have a Wi-Fi free household. 99% of the time I turn on Wi-Fi if I have to do something on Wi-Fi, but most of the time my wireless is off in my house, and I believe, and I know some people don't believe this, but you know, I want to minimize any kind of you know, any kind of radiation or wireless signals in my house. I mean, I know it can make a difference with growing plants, and the long-term effects on humans are not studied, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And anyways, when you have wired connections in your house, they're much faster than wireless, and you don't get any interference. So yeah, I'm sad they don't have a wired port, but at the same time, I think it's actually a bit ridiculous that they have the internet connected, and this has to be Wi-Fi connected, and I have to turn on my Wi-Fi actually to use it. Because they scan, the main reason why is they scan a little QR code to make sure that the produce hasn't been recalled. And I don't think this is a really valid reason for having a connected device, personally. You know, surely they're keeping records of who's buying what batch, and they're sending it out to people, and they know who's sending what. And then instead of not being able to press a bag, they could easily send a push notification on the app you have to install or to your email address that they have for you, letting you guys know that the produce has been recalled and not to juice it. That being said, they should also be doing testing of every batch of produce that comes in to make sure, you know, they're doing their own testing aside from the farmers doing their testing, so that they're not going to even give you produce that needs to be recalled in the first place. So, in my opinion, this needlessly is connected to the internet, just adds extra added expense. But, you know, the thing for them is that it ensures that you have to actually buy their press bags to juice it, and it has a code on there because it has to verify it. That being said, if you're a smart programmer, which I'm not one, I would encourage you guys to hack the Juicero, and I know they probably wouldn't like this. And then I guess there's a USB port or something in there. You could maybe upload new firmware. So I'd encourage somebody to make a hack so anybody could use any bag in there that they pre-filled. And I want another company to actually come out with bags you can fill yourself to using the Juicero. Then actually this would be a pretty impressive machine for some reasons. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close this. It locks in place. It senses that the QR code is correct. I tried to just close it with other bags and other things in there. It wouldn't really close and lock. Now it's waiting for me to hit that button. But before I hit that button, I want to set up a timer here so you guys can see in real time how long this is taking both me and the Juicero, because I know Bloomberg did edit their video a bunch. Alright, so what am I going to do next first? I'm probably going to grab this, get ready. I'm going to probably, let's see, I'm going to hit start, make sure you guys can see that pretty good. Make sure this is right underneath, alright, which it is. We're going to hit start, hit that, and I'm going to squeeze this out as quickly as I can. We're going to see how much juice I could get out of this to see if Bloomberg was telling the truth or not, and to see if this machine is a scam, because human power or man could beat the machine. Alright, hit start, go. Hit start. Alright, I'm squeezing it now. Whoa, man, and coming out a lot of air first. Squeezing out the juice. Look, man, the Juicero's lame, dude. It's not even squeezing shit. I got like a lot of stuff already. I almost got like 4 ounces. It's not even squeezing yet, man. Oh my god. It's like, reminds me of like the John Henry, like, you know, steel driving man, he beat the machine. Alright, now it's getting significantly harder. You know, I got all the easy to press out juice, but now it's getting significantly harder. So now I'm having to change my technique. Now I'm using like a ring technique, wringing it out. Ugh. I'm still beating the Juicero, man. This is fun. Yeah, I would encourage you guys to subscribe to my videos, man. I always have fun when I'm doing juice comparisons. Alright, yeah, I think I'm being more effective than the Bloomberg people. But it's getting tough to squeeze this stuff out, man. I've gotten it pretty dry. Let's see. Alright, let's see. I'm going to use a new technique. I'm pressing all the pulp down to the bottom. I think we're going to have to wring now. Alright, man, it's been a minute. The Juicero's still going. I'm still going. I mean, this is a pain in the butt. Wring it by hand. It's easier to put in a machine, and we're all lazy these days, you know. We don't walk upstairs anymore. We take the elevator. I take the stairs whenever I can. I actually hate elevators. But that's beyond the point. I don't go to the gym. I just squeeze Juicero bags for my grip strength. Alright. Alright, man, I think I'm like maxed out, dude. That thing's still going. Alright, we're gonna try one more time, like massively. So, yes! I wonder if I'm breaking the bag yet. Oh, look, I'm getting more, man. It's kind of exciting when you get more juice. Man versus machine. Do we really need a Juicero machine? I don't know. Alright. Man, out of gumption here. Alright, let's it's still going, man. I still got some time. I think it stopped. Oh, it's still going, man. Let's go get more. Alright, real time, man. No editing. Alright, I mean, I'm getting my bag pretty good. I'm trying to move it, all the pulp to the bottom. I'm going to minimize the space on the bag. Alright, I'm done, man. I mean, I could probably get a couple more drips. My leg is shaking because I've exerted so much energy. But there you go, man. I got a pretty flat pack. 3 minutes and the Juicero is still running. I'm hearing some gearing or motors or something going on. I think I'm going to take a breather. Alright, we're going to keep the clock running until it actually completely stops. Alright, it stopped. Alright, let's hit stop. Oh, no, wait, it's still running. Alright, stop. Okay, so the Juicero stopped at 3 minutes and 23 seconds. I juiced faster than the Juicero, man versus machine. Next, let me go ahead and show you guys actually the yield results and do a close-up for you guys, because that's actually quite important for me. Let's go ahead and do a close-up on the juices here. Alright, this side we got the Juicero, and look at that. It's just basically right at the 200 milliliter, which is basically a little bit under 8 ounces. And then over on my juice that I hand squeeze, basically we're at the 200 milliliter and maybe like a line above it. So you guys look at that? Like literally it's a line above it, a little bit more than from the Juicero. Another thing while we're over here that's really interesting to me, as you'll learn about a little bit later in this episode, is I want you guys to look at the juice color. Right, you guys see the juice color on that? Look at the color of that one and look at the color of that one. Does one seem darker to you? I mean, one surely does seem darker to me. We'll leave it on that shot for a little bit. And I don't exactly know why that is. Well, maybe I do. But it's quite interesting. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But as it seems, I squeeze more juice than the Juicero. Alright, so you guys just saw I was able to squeeze more juice out of this bag than the Juicero by that much. And of course, YMMV. Hopefully they're packaging their packs even amounts of produce. And you know, basically when I was turning it, I wasn't just putting force like this direction, which can be quite difficult. You know, I was using my human strength and twisting and turning it at the same time, something that the Juicero cannot exert the pressure like that. And actually that's the pressure that most juicers put on it. That being said, you know, this pack is nice and clean. Take it out and you could chuck this, which creates more needless garbage. Hopefully you return this to the Juicero for recycling. But basically the pack in here, it feels pretty dry, but you know, this is how it looks like, right? My pack versus their pack is still nice. All right, let's see if I can take their pack and squeeze it some more. Probably not. Oh look, I'm getting a couple drops. Look, I'm still getting juice out of it, man. 4 tons of power, 15, whatever, how many millions of dollars they put in it, and it didn't even get all the juice out. I'm getting a couple drops. Look at that. All right, man. Definitely been fun showing you guys this. All right. So now what we want to do is I want to go ahead and open the pack up and see what's left inside there. Straighten this one out. We're going to go ahead and take our scissors. All right. Basically now we have, you guys saw the fresh pulp before, but now what? Basically we have this dry pulp, right? Dry pulp, you know, if using other kinds of machines like the Pure Juice Press, another style press machine on the market, in my opinion, that actually will make a drier pulp. So like if I put this through a pure juicer, I could get this pulp a little bit drier. And maybe a little bit later in this episode, I'll basically put this through just a standard juicer to see if we could get more juice out of this pulp. But at this point, I could definitely say that the Bloomberg report was correct. They actually made less juice. I think it was a female maybe doing the demo. I'm a guy, and twisting and turning have a little bit different technique. Plus, I'm a juicing expert. I made a little bit more juice. That being said, you may make the same, you know, a little bit less, a little bit more, but nonetheless, you know, the press maybe maybe not the most important thing to the Juicero product. It's actually the packets that actually have literally the juice sitting around in the fiber. Next, I want to go ahead and drink these juices, and this is their Beta Glow. I will say it does have a good flavor, and much like many pressed juices, right? A truly pressed juice is going to have actually no fiber or no bits in there, and that's something that's kind of good. Another thing that's actually maybe not so good about the press style machines is basically they put all the ground up or chopped, in this case, pulp in a bag, and it's this bag here that I can't really get out. Maybe if I destroy this more, you guys can see the bag more. Alright, so that's what it looks like on the inside. This is basically their cloth, or not cloth, but it's some kind of poly bag. Stretchable, has a fine porosity or fine pore size. But basically my challenge with any juicer that is a press style like this is the whole size of porosity, or the whole size of the bag being used. Basically when you're using, as you'll see in a little bit, when using a standard juicer that you could actually juice any produce in, you don't need to buy pre-made bags with the produce already pre-cut, you know what's going in your juicer. It basically does the grinding and the pressing in one step. These style machines, you need to do some kind of first step, which is grinding or chopping or grating, and then put this in the bag to press out the juice. And as we learn here, they must have a pretty good grinding or chopping or stage, because whenever they put it in here, you can literally squeeze it with your hands. You don't need a over-engineered machine to do that. But the problem I'm seeing here is, you know, when you do it in this way, the pore size are quite small. And with a smaller pore size, you're not going to get some of those vital phytonutrients and phytochemicals that come actually out of these pores and into your glass. So actually what I want to do next is actually want to go ahead and get out one of my juicers that I use on a daily basis. It's actually the same price as the Juicero, and I'll actually compare the two juicers side by side and let you guys know the pros and cons of each one. And then actually we're going to juice that empty pack and maybe some of this extra pulp through my juicer to see if we could actually get any more yield out of it, and also see if there's actually a color difference between the juices that were created. So now I want to show you guys actually the Omega VSJ843 juicer. This is my favorite juicer that I use on a regular basis. This machine, unlike the Juicero, allows you to basically put any fruit or vegetable, leafy green, into the juicer so that you could juice it without actually having to buy, you know, pre-made expensive produce packs. So this gives you greater flexibility in deciding what you want to drink instead of having someone dictate to you what you're going to drink, because If they don't have the recipe for it and they don't sell it, you're not drinking it. But it also makes it easier for people because it takes some choices away. Because some people don't like, John, what juice recipe do I make? And I just make every juice recipe up as I go, depending on what I have in my garden fresh, what's on sale that's organic at the store this week, right? But anyways, so that's why I like this machine and most other juicers that we sell at discountjuicers.com. You could choose what you want to juice. And there's many different kinds of juicers. They each work a little bit different. And if I had to explain it, I'd explain it for women, right? For women, anyways, I'd say this. This is the analogy I like to give. How many pairs of shoes do you guys have, ladies? And if you're a guy and you have a wife, how many pairs of shoes does your wife have, right? You have 50 pairs of shoes? Hopefully not, maybe 20. But anyways, girls and even guys will have multiple pairs of shoes for different tasks. You might have a pair of high heels to go out on a nice fancy night on the town. You might have a nice pair of flats to go to work in. You might have some hiking shoes to go hiking with your hubby. You might have some steel-toed boots if you work in, an automotive shop or in construction, right? You might have some barefoot, some Vibram 5-finger, some barefoot shoes if you're really a runner and doing barefoot running, right? Born to run, So you might have many different pairs of shoes, and I kind of look at juicers just like that, right? I have many different juicers. I have probably 20 juicers here, and now including the Juicero. And each one serves their own purpose. They do things a little bit differently. And, and when you're trying to get one pair of shoes to go to the wedding, to go to the beach, to go hiking in, to go to work in, it's kind of difficult. And I know some guys do that because I just have one pair of shoes. I wear it for everything pretty much. And so you could do that, but when you do that, you're compromising. You're not going to look as sexy in some flats or some all-purpose shoes than you would in some high-heel pumps or something like that. And at the beach, maybe some shoes are going to get a lot of sand in them if you wore sandals or not. And juicers are the same way, right? So there's different styles of juicers that work differently. There's high-speed centrifugal juicers. There are high-speed centrifugal ejection juicers. There's twin-gear cold-press juicers. There's single-auger vertical cold-press juicers. There's single-auger horizontal cold-press juicers. There's grinder with press juicers. And there's just sheer press-only juicers. They all work a bit different, but they all end up with giving you some juice. And so that's why I like this machine. This is actually the vertical single auger, is because it's the most versatile juicer of them all. It juices at a low speed to preserve the most nutrition. That's something that I know the Juicero company and the founder Doug was trying to do when he created this. So it runs at a low 43 RPM. Some juicers run in excess of 10,000, 15,000 RPMs or revolutions per minute. Basically, the faster the speed, the more aeration, the more oxidative damage is being done to the juice. So that's why I like a low-speed process that's getting in there. So this is a vertical single auger. It just juices things from leafy greens quite well to hard vegetables, even to fruits pretty well. Let me go ahead and explain how it works. Basically, you put the produce down this feed chute. This is gravity-fed, so you do not need to use the pusher if you're using it properly. The next step is it goes into this auger here. This auger is surrounded by this conical screen here, and what happens is upon putting the produce in, these two little blades basically chop off the produce into little chunks. That being said, I do encourage you to do pre-cut produce before putting it in this or any other vertical machine for best results. It basically cuts it up, and as it goes down this auger, it's much like one of those old-fashioned meat grinders that your grandma might have had. You don't really see those too much anymore, because everybody buys ground meat already in the store, and actually I don't necessarily recommend that due to all the additives and all the deforestation that's causing, and other reasons. But anyways, you put the produce in there, and it literally acts like a grinder, and it literally grinds up the produce. And as it's grinding it up, the next stage down here is actually it's squeezing it. So it grinds it up near the top, near this first stage, the initial grind, some juice comes out these holes. As it works its way down, it's grinding it up, much like the pulp packs, right? And then this bottom stage squeezes the juice out. So this grinds and squeezes all in one step where they're doing the grinding for you, and then you do the squeezing. And then so how this works is the juice comes out this front little spout here, and all the pulp, the drier pulp, comes out over here. And that's how this one works. And yeah, this one's the same price as the Juicero, so if you're looking for a juicer, a better investment to buy with the same money, I personally would go for this. Number one, you have ultimate flexibility in recipes that you could make. You don't have to be Wi-Fi connected on this machine. You know, you could use your homegrown produce. You can't use your homegrown produce with the Juicero. That's one of the big complaints because I have a nice garden that I juice a lot of things from my very garden. The other thing is the warranty. The Juicero provides a 2-year warranty, which, you know, is fairly long for juicers. Some juicers might only have a 90-day or 1-year warranty. But with this machine, it's a 15-year warranty. Think about it, man. Think if your iPhone had a 15-year warranty. If it ever broke due to no fault of your own, Apple would replace it. Yeah, I wish, right? This machine, if it breaks, the screen breaks or something breaks due to no fault of your own, you're just juicing with it and it happened to break, it's going to be covered under warranty for 15 years. So that means this is truly a one-time investment. You know, for the next 15 years, you'll be juicing in your Omega juicer. And if this thing breaks after year 3, all the complex parts in there, man, it's going to be probably expensive to fix. Plus, you're locked into buying the bags. So, anyways, now that you guys know about this juicer, how it's a little bit different, what I want to do next for you guys is actually I want to go ahead and juice some of the pulp that I took out a little bit earlier from the Juicero. You go ahead and make sure this is properly seated in there. Alright, so this is where it's going to get interesting. Let's go ahead and take the pulp that I squeezed out a little bit in the sieve, and we're going to go ahead and put that through the machine to see if we get any juice. But before we do that, actually, I want to go ahead and put the pulp out of the Juicero that the Juicero already squeezed. This is the one, maybe a little bit fell out, but I want to go ahead and put this through the juicer. And that's another thing about, you know, juicers like this. You can actually put the pulp back through the machine to see if you get further extraction. We can see how effective the Juicero actually was. As you guys can see, we're pushing out a few drops of juice. We got the pulp that's actually getting a little bit drier, even in the Omega VSJ843. So actually, this is quite impressive to me. You know, we're getting a few drops, like hardly anything. So this machine's fairly good. But once again, you know, you're paying $3.99 for a machine that doesn't even get all the juice out, and it's not a lot, guys. Seriously. And I did drop a little bit of this when I was opening the bag up, but nonetheless, it's not even like an ounce. Actually, I'm gonna get a measuring cup because I want to see actually how much juice was left in here. All right, I think we got all that spent pulp in there, and yeah, garbage that's created. I think that's sinful. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this machine off and put the spout cap down so we don't have any drips. And let's go ahead and pour this into a little small measuring cup here. See how much juice we really got. And I mean, yeah. So we was able to extract some more juice, but how much? Not much, man. It's able to extract 1 more tablespoon out of the juice. And I don't know if you guys can see that, right? But look at the color difference. I'll show you guys that in a minute, but the color difference, amazing. Because we're going to go ahead and take a little shot of my 1 tablespoon of juice I made extra. Wow, man. That's really strong ginger. So, you know, I think they don't grate the ginger up strong enough, and when it went through here, actually it got a lot of the excess ginger juice out. All right, so now the moment I've been waiting for, we're going to go ahead and turn this machine on. Oops. And we're going to go ahead and juice all the pulp that came out of the bag that we actually didn't put through the Juicero to see how much juice we can get out of the Omega VSJ843. Once again, I mean, this is one of the easiest machines to use in the world, provided you have the produce prepared properly. You're going to literally just drop it in like I'm dropping it in. In addition, this can be used to rejuice your pulp. It works quite well, especially inexpensive, cheap Chinese juicers. It doesn't work well to rejuice your pulp. And some of those machines, you know, put a lot of pulp in the juice and have a short warranty. And basically it comes down to you get what you pay for, right? This machine is not made in China. Oh, look at this, man. This machine is kicking it. It's getting a lot of juice out of this pulp that actually Juicero has already actually pre-ground. Once again, we don't need to be putting pulp in this machine. We could be putting whole carrots and oranges and everything in there. But, you know, I really want to see how much juice this juicer would get out as compared to the Juicero to see, you know, if it's their magical juicer that's doing all the work, or their grading technique, or if their machine's even that efficient, right? The one thing I will say is when you are rejuicing pulp, you're not going to get the maximum yield because some of the pulp will always remain inside the machine and not get fully juiced. Alright, so we fed pretty much all the pulp that we had in there. to make it a fair comparison, we're going to go ahead and pour the juice that I just wrung out originally in the glass. Now if I wanted to ensure we get all the juice out of that pulp, what I could do is I could take some of this dry pulp and put it back through the machine, because the problem is if I take this machine apart, there's a lot of pulp still being stuck inside that actually didn't go through, that still may be wet. So we want to go ahead and actually put some more of the dry pulp through to push some of that wet pulp, get it down into this bottom area where it actually does get pressed. So I think I'll do that today, just to make sure we have an even fight here. Normally, if juicing like big pieces of carrots and celery, I would juice something hard and firm last in the VSJ843, and then you would get very little pulp left in the machine when you're done. That being said, every juicer virtually, you're going to have some pulp, some juice left in the pulp. Even with the Juicero that you guys saw, I was able to squeeze a little bit more out. Anyways, I think we're probably good here. We juiced it again. We could put it through again and again, and it kind of gets to the point of diminishing returns. Go ahead and turn that, close that spout cap, and let's take a look at the juice we got. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the juice we got. So once again, on this juice, looks like we just got right about the 200 milliliter line. So that's a little bit under 8 ounces as well. So as you guys could see, we actually pressed the pulp that came out of the Juicero bag in the VSJ843. It produced about the same amount of juice whether I put it through the VSJ, whether I squeeze it with my hand, or whether we put it in the Juicero. What is this telling us? Anyways, the other thing I really want to share with you guys actually really quick is, the juices made about the same yield. I don't want to like nitpick over this made more or less. But what I do want to tell you is that I do want to compare the juices that were made in the juicer. So we're going to go ahead and pour the juice from the VSJ843 in this glass, in this little mini shot glass or measuring glass. Then we're going to go ahead and pour the juice from the Juicero in this glass. Wow, I really see a difference in that. I don't know if you guys could do that. But I want to show you guys this, because this is super important, super critical for something for you guys to know, and this is both a pro and a con. And to do this, I want to give you guys a close-up on these juices. Alright, so now I want to give you guys a close-up on the juices. Now, we're not necessarily paying attention to the yield, because this is not for yield. But this is actually for color. So I'm going to hold it right there for a second. Can you guys see the color difference between the juices? Once again, juice on this side, right there, that's from the Juicero. Juice on this side right here is from the VSJ843. Look at the opacity. Is it opacity, or how clear or how see-through the juice is, right? You guys can see we got a fairly close-up shot there. Here's a shot of both, and here's a shot of this one here. Which one looks more transparent, or which one can you see through more? Here's another shot from the top. This is where I really get to see it, right? Which juice to you looks like it's more like a water with some coloring in there? And which one looks like a more deeper, richer juice, right? Let me go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about this. So hopefully you guys saw, as I see sitting here in front of it, that the juice made out of the Juicero was actually kind of like a lot more transparent, or you can't quite see through because it's pretty dark. But the juice on the Omega VSJ843 was darker than the one on the Juicero. And the reason for this is because of the porosity of the hole size. When we're going through the hole size, and I got the bag on the floor, it's that small grate. But when we're going through this machine, it actually has to go through these small holes in the stainless steel juicing screen. I believe this allows more nutrients to pass through the juicing screen because the hole size is a lot bigger than on this machine. So in this place, the machine's pretty good at extracting the liquid or the water, and also some nutrients because it is actually orange. But this machine is even better because it's deeper orange. And next, I want to go ahead and explain and taste each one and let you guys know how each one tastes. I mean, it tastes good. It's like a watery juice. I could taste the flavors. The flavors are really good. I mean, it's actually quite a good recipe. But watery. Let's go ahead and taste this one. Once again, darker color. I could say that this one has a better flavor, a more robust juice, right? If you're a wine connoisseur, you might know what I mean, right? It's just more robust. Like there's much more flavor in there. And guess what flavor goes along with? Flavor goes along with phytonutrients, right? The nutrients in the food is when we taste it, we could taste them. So based on just my taste test, based on the color, more colors mean more nutrition in general. And based on studies I've seen in the past run by other juicer companies comparing a pressed juice versus something like a auger style or twin gear style juice that actually grinds up more effectively and puts more nutrients in the juice, this style machine is going to actually even make a more nutritious juice, in my opinion. And I mean, you can see that by the color. So yeah, some big differences between the Juicero and the Omega VSJ843. I think the last thing I want to do in this episode is, these juice packs. I think these ones are like $5 or something like that. I want to go ahead and get enough produce that would cost me $5 and juice it in this machine to see how much yield we get compared to an 8-ounce juice in the Juicero. So in this part of the episode, I want to explain, how much produce you could buy instead of one of these packs. So these packs can range from $5 to $8. And I buy organic produce, and right here we have about 4.5 pounds of organic produce. We got organic purple carrots. Check these guys out, man. Look at that. But yeah, purple carrots more nutritious than the standard orange carrots, at least 10 times more nutritious. So get the purple ones whenever you can. They're $1 a pound. You could find maybe some orange carrots organic at Costco for 50 cents a pound. We got that's about 2 pounds there. We got about another 2 pounds of organic oranges that I cut off the skin, so I just peeled off the coloring. The white pith is completely good to juice. Actually, lots of nutrition is in there. When I opened this bag up, I didn't really see orange pieces. I just seen mostly carrot. We have 1 whole lemon. The lemon can be juiced with the skin, actually. And then we have 1 small piece of ginger. A little bit of ginger goes a long way, so remember that. But yeah, this is how much produce $5 would buy. So instead of buying a bag, we're going to actually juice all this and see how much juice we get. But also, to make this more interesting, we're going to go ahead and put a juice pack in the Juicero. I'm going to start the stopwatch again, and we're going to see how much juice I could make just juicing the pre-prepared produce in the juicer in the same time that the Juicero can simply just press out a pack. Alright, so let's go ahead and get set up here once again, the handy-dandy stopwatch app here. Now, I ran out of the Beta Glow packs here. I just got these sweet root packs now, but the juicing time would be the same, so we're not doing necessarily a yield test because we know this yield will get about 8 ounces no matter what bag you put in. But over on this side, we do want to see the yield because this is how much how much equivalent produce you'll be able to buy to juice yourself on your own and see how much more juice you could make for the same amount of money. And then part of it's going to be in the same amount of time also. So let's go ahead and hit the okay. Juicers, start your engines. Juicero, are you ready? Are you Wi-Fi connected? I think he is Wi-Fi connected. All right, VSJ843, you plugged in. No Wi-Fi needed. All right, he's ready too. Let's go ahead and turn this baby on. Let's go ahead and hit the start button. Hit the start button here. Let's go ahead and start dumping in produce here. You always want to rotate what you're feeding. So we're putting a couple carrots in there first. Oranges, followed by some carrots. Same time, I'm sitting here cutting while I'm dropping things in the juicer, so it's most efficient. That juicer's not even making any juice yet, and look, man, we got the bottom of this collection cup already lined with juice here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut some more oranges there. Shove those in half. Put a carrot in there. Alright, man, we're getting some splashing over on that side. Alright, we are at about a minute. I'm doing good, man. This juicer already has 8 ounces. That one has not quite 8 ounces yet. Once again, rotating the orange, then a carrot, orange, then a carrot. Hey, let's put that ginger in there. Put some lemon in there. Ooh, that one's squeezed. That's still working there. 1 minute, 22 seconds. Oh, stop this machine up. Overfed it. Reverse. That machine's still running there. Alright, that machine's barely made 8 ounces, man, and I've made almost 16 ounces over on this side. I still hear the machine running. Still running. Kicking out the produce on this side, man. Almost made 3 cups. At the same time, this only made 8 ounces. Which juicer is silly here? I'll give you a clue. It ain't this one. Alright, we're down with all the carrots. Alright, that one stopped. 2 minutes, 34 seconds. This machine stopped. Oh, it's still going. I'm still hearing it going. Let's keep juicing on this side. Still running over there. Alright, it stopped. 3 minutes 27 seconds. In this machine, it's finally off. We made about 8 ounces of juice. And over on this side, check it out, man. I mean, we made like 4 cups of juice. This side we had 1 cup of juice. So same amount of time, the same amount of money, right? $5, and look, we still have like 3 more carrots left. We probably would have got easily over 4 cups of juice. So we got 4 times more juice for the same money in the same time. Now, of course, granted, you know, it's easier to open this thing up, take this out and chuck it, or hopefully mail it back, than it is to take this juicer apart and clean it. That being said, this juicer only takes me about 3 minutes to clean. It's one of the fastest juicers on the market to clean. So, you know, although your time is more, and yes, it took me some time to prep the juice, that being said, for a little bit more time, you get a lot more juice, and in my opinion, a lot healthier juice too, because you could source where you guys buy your carrots. You could even pick them out of your backyard. You get to choose your recipe on this side. You know, you have to have a preset recipe. So, you know, the choice is yours, right? If you guys got $400, you guys could choose to buy this one, or you guys choose to buy this one. You know, for most regular people like me that doesn't have a lot of extra money, you know, you're going to want to go this route. A few extra minutes to clean in, not too bad. You know, more nutritious juice. There's so many more, 15-year warranty, 2-year warranty. But of course, if you guys are rich and have all these expensive cars and want the latest and greatest Wi-Fi connected gadget, hey, get the Juicero here. So, I mean, I think we're coming to the end of this episode. I think my final comments on the Juicero after playing with it, using it, I mean, it is definitely a really good build quality. It's nice and heavy, a little bit heavier actually than the machine over here. Is it? Yeah, it's pretty heavy. It works well for what it does, but that being said, as you guys saw earlier, I was able to wring out a little bit more juice with my hands than with this machine. So it really kind of perplexes me why a company and all these venture capitalists would invest, you know, millions of dollars in just coming up with this machine that you could actually, I'm sure, make a maybe not as over-engineered device that's not connected to do the same thing. I also personally believe it's sad that actually you must use their juice packs. I hope the company could turn the bad PR around. You know, I do believe that there's some good that came out of all the bad PR that Juicero got, is that it brought juicing front and center to so many more people that haven't heard about juicing, and hopefully you guys watch this episode to really learn the finer points about the machines and the pros and cons. If you guys enjoyed this episode, you know, that took me a long time to set up and do and make all the juices for you guys and explain this stuff. I would encourage you guys to support me in my work. The way you could do that is by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to continue to make these educational videos on YouTube, on the different YouTube channels, where I educate people on how to grow their own food and how to eat healthier and how to, you know, make juices and teach you guys the truth and just tell the truth as an independent reviewer of the different juices and show you guys front and center the pros and cons of each machine, because truly every machine has pros and cons. You might be, Juicero's a piece of junk. Well, you know, there's some good things about Juicero, right? There's a lot of bad things, but there's some good things too. And I just try to be here and show the pros and cons and show you guys what I would do. I mean, this is just the way to go for me. A few minutes to clean, not a big deal. I made 4 times the juice for the same price. It's simply amazing. So with that, I would encourage you guys to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, be sure to share this video with other people so that they can learn about the Juicero as well as the Omega VSJ843, my favorite juicer. And they could learn the truth about juicing. Also, they could see actually how I was able to wring out a bag with my bare hands. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below. I come out with new videos every 5 to 7 days, sharing with you guys the latest innovations in juicing, blending, vacuum blending technology now, and comparing juicers so you guys could find out the best one for you. And also be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I have over 500 episodes on this YouTube channel dedicated to sharing all the different juicers and comparing them so that you guys could make the best choice for you. So with that, my name is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. Welcome back. So here's the outtakes. There's some things that I just want to see if I could do just for fun, right? I like to have fun and enjoy life. But what I want to show you guys next is actually, this is the Juicero. And if you guys saw previously on my episodes, I was actually at the 2017 CES. And they had a juicer, Juisir, which is basically a hydraulic press similar to this, but you don't have to buy the pre-made packs. You can actually fill your own packs, such as these guys right here. And so obviously it looked like they were just kind of knocking off what they did, what Juicero did, but it's a little bit different, you know, it works on different principles. And, you know, I asked the owner if it infringes on patents, he says no, it doesn't. And then just recently, Juicero filed a suit against patent infringement, you know, that basically said that the special patent is that they made a little packet here that you could put in the juicer. And so the Juicir company also made some kind of packet. But actually these packets are different because you fill them yourself. Also, they have a silicone reusable packet. Anyways, what I thought I'd do for fun is I want to see if I could fill up a Juicir packet and actually put it in the Juicero to press out. So what I thought I'd press today is actually just some oranges here. I got one of these extra bags when I saw them at CES. I got two extra bags, so this is one of them. So I'm going to dedicate it to this project here to see if we could press out the juice out of these peeled oranges. All right, I think we're about full. We got this pretty much full of oranges. Next step is let's go ahead and set it up into the juicer. All right, so I got it full of oranges, and one of the funny things is the Juicir company is doing in all their demos is they have these bags here, right? And what they don't tell you is there's cotton inside here that it's lined with cotton, and that's their press bag instead of like the kind of plasticky stuff, which is cool. But what they don't tell you is in the Juicir machine, you're supposed to be able to put this in the machine, and then they're supposed to heat seal it shut and then squeeze it out. That being said, in all their demo videos, you see them filling up like I just did, and then basically it cuts, and then basically they come back with this seal. So they basically heat seal it off camera because their machine is not yet designed to do this. They're supposed to be doing that and hopefully getting it all worked out. So actually I got to go and heat seal this bag, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in the Juicero to see if we could press out some orange juice. All right, so I got the bag all heat sealed up. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, let's go ahead and try to put the Juicir bag in the Juicero here to juice. All right, fits right in. Let's go ahead and close this. Looks like it's almost a similar dimension. It closed and locked into place. Let's go ahead and make sure that's pointed down. This is flashing. Let's hit it. It's actually juicing the Juicir bag in the Juicero. All right, man. I don't know. This might blow up or something because this is not the standard bag. All right, it's pressing out those oranges. This is a very expensive orange juicer at this point. Let's see what happens. I'm kind of scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. Nothing. Nothing happened. Look, we're getting some orange juice. It's starting to dribble out. Not much. It's working! The Juicir bag in a Juicero. Scant amount of juice though, man. Like, oh my god, like 100 milliliters. It's barely nothing. Man, I could like hand squeeze oranges with the orange reamer here faster. I should have done that at the same time. The other thing, I mean, this is where it's very apparent, like if I juiced oranges through this machine, actually, at the same time, the orange juice would be significantly darker. Actually, let's do that for fun. When this is done, I'm going to go ahead and juice the rest of these guys after I clean this one more time to show you guys the difference in the color of the juice. And that's showing you the difference between cut and pressed juice versus like truly ground up and extracted juice in a slow juicer. Alright, well this isn't doing too bad. Alright, so that's done. Check it out, man. Squeeze this Juicir bag in the Juicero. I love doing cool stuff. Let's see if I can squeeze this out more. Alright. Use the wringing technique like you wring your clothes out. I had to do that in college. Yeah, can't really get too much more juice out. Now I know what you're thinking, John, you're not supposed to be able to juice anything but the special Juicero packs in the Juicero. Well, you're right. Except in this instance, because what I did was I took one of those bags that I opened up that I didn't actually press and I cut out the QR code and I taped it to this one, and then actually I made the special hanging holes for the Juicero because these are the ones for the juicer, and you know, the bag fit in, it scanned the code, and then it pressed out the juice. I think that's actually quite funny myself. But yeah, that's the extent of my hacking. I don't know how to do software hardware hacking. But yeah, so this is the juice it made. Now really quick here, I'm going to stop the episode and we're going to go ahead and clean this up, and I want to juice these oranges out for you guys to show you guys the difference in the juice between, you know, the pressed juice that you guys just saw and slow juice in the VSJ843. Alright, so now I quickly want to go ahead and juice these oranges that has the pith on, you know, and just run them through. They juice really easily in the VSJ, literally no pushing is necessary. As you guys saw, you know, the VSJ 4 times faster in my test that I just did, you know, made 4 times as much juice in the same amount of time. That's one of my challenges with some of the press style machines, right, that are the horizontal press style machines. They're a bit slow, man. The main reason why I'm doing this test actually is to show you guys the color difference between the juices. I'm just about done. I think I'll come back at you when I'm about finished juicing these oranges. Just about done juicing in the Omega VSJ843. Let's go ahead and move this bowl out the way there. And I want to go ahead and show you guys the comparison first of the juices. So first, here's the juice made in the VSJ843. Same exact oranges, organic Valencias. Here's a juice made in the Juicero, or even a Juicir, because I use their bag. But I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll do a close-up for you guys. Can you guys see that? Like, this juice from the VSJ843 is significantly darker. Let me go ahead and pour it in a different container so you guys can see it maybe a little bit better. Wow. I even feel the density of the juice when I'm pouring it. Like, this is like pouring water, like really thin. And this is like pouring, not quite like a smoothie, like something blended, but it's a lot thicker. But look at that. I don't know if I have the right tester, but if we just slosh it back and forth, you can see maybe how it sloshes. But I don't know if you guys can see the differences, man. Big differences. Now I want to go ahead and taste the difference. It's like ETD, experience the difference. TTD, taste, TTD, taste the difference. All right. Pressed juice out of the Juicero, or even the Juicir. I mean, tastes like orange juice. Tastes fairly watery, bit sweet. Let's go ahead and taste this one out of the VSJ. Wow, much nicer mouthfeel I have to say it almost tastes thick. Like, if you guys are into science and all this stuff and you guys know surface tension, like this one is kind of like, it seemed like, not like it's jelly, but it's like thicker in my mouth, so I have a better mouth feel than just simply watery. Definitely more nutrition in this side right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and compare the pulps here. So we got the Juicero bag with my taped on QR code. And let's go ahead and cut this bag open. And let me show you guys the inside of their bag. So inside their bag, what they have here is basically just like a cloth bag inside their plastic bag, which, you know, this is compostable. You can only reuse this cloth maybe a couple times, but if it's sealed in the bag, you can't really reuse this bag, so you gotta check it out also. But inside this little baggie, which we'll actually also cut open here, this is what we got here. We got smashed orange segments. And look at that. I mean, it did a good job. I mean, the Juicero did a good job. I don't know if it's better than the Juicer or whatever, but this is pretty impressive. I mean, look at this orange segment. The challenge I see with this is not that it actually pressed out actually a good quantity of juice. I mean, I can't really, this is pretty dry. Can't really get too much more out of this. It'd be interesting to put it through here. But the difference I want to show you guys is look at the difference between the fiber. All right, so a pressed juicer, whether it's the Juicero, the Juicer, even a Norwalk, right, is going to basically press out stuff whole unless you grind it first. Super critical, super important if you want to get more nutrition, like they already do in the Juicero. But look at the fiber after you just put the whole segments through the VSJ843. I mean, it's just all fractionated up. It's just literally pulp. You're extracting significantly more nutrients out of the fiber. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like the Juicer. I do like the Juicero that actually they grind up or chop up how they do it. So you're going to get more nutrition out, but still the limiting factor on the Juicero is the bag. It's not letting, and you're not going to get as deep or rich or as many nutrients, in my opinion. You're more getting a water with some nutrients. As Jay Cordish, the juice man, taught me, you know, when you press out juices, you're getting like an orange water, and when you juice them, you're getting a true orange juice. Unfortunately, most orange juices you would buy are more of an orange water because they're not actually extracting all the nutrition out of the fiber like I did today. So yeah, that's pretty much this episode. I just wanted to show you guys this as an afterthought. So now I want to show you guys my last few comments about the Juicero machine today and other similar press style machines. Basically, each juicer has their pros and cons. Much like any other juicer, aside from this machine, you don't have to clean it. That's a pro. A con is that it literally presses the nutrients out of the juice and you're getting mostly a water consistency, and you're going to be leaving nutrients behind in the pulp, in my opinion. Other thing about this particular machine, it's quite expensive. I'm glad that they spent millions of dollars to come up with a design and sell juicers so that more people could start juicing, because that's what I'm all about. I don't care what juice you buy, really. I don't care if you get a Juicero, waste all your money, or if maybe you got extra money to blow. I don't know what that feels like. But yeah, more ways you guys can get fruits and vegetables in you, the better. I think the money would have been better spent in having like a juicer campaign to do a lot of marketing on a regular style juicer, or to, you know, do something else better on the planet to improve farming practices. So yeah, I think it's an incredible waste of money, and as you guys saw, it's really just an unneeded piece of technology, which is actually kind of silly. And then yeah, so that's pretty much it. We'll catch you later. Bye.